too close to an hour as I really spare some time to obviously get into your your live chat to obviously see to it that all goes on as planned in here onto the Rokani Media Football. Smash the like button, comment and share. We are powered by Muno Gadgets 256. You can call them on +256 70 9988 665. And after that, the rest will be history, and you'll obviously get yourself up and running with the latest gadgets, slick phones, slick laptops that will take you to the dream world. They deal in new phones and laptops plus used UK phones and laptops. So call them onto that number and you'll never regret, I tell you. You'll obviously come in here and thank me later that Rokani, you sent me to the right people that have gone ahead obviously treat me well, and they've gone ahead to give me the best that I deserve as a client for Mono Gadgets and a viewer of Rokani Media Football. Continue to subscribe to this channel because we want to hit 23,000 subscribers and the rest will be history. Chabet Mike, thank you for watching it through. Then Martin Aisha, thank you, and Michael Francis. It's always nice having you onto this beautiful YouTube channel of ours. We thank God for the gift of life, the Muslims, Juma Karim, the Christians. We cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ, and may the living to God bless you abundantly. Now, a story was all over you guys yesterday about Gyokeres, and I was like, I have something important about the deal of Gyokeres coming in through from Leonino from Portugal, and he's really giving us updates on this deal, and he's really one of those that went ahead to misfire last time, but I think this time round he has gone ahead to get it right, because the stance has always been for Sporting Lisbon no selling a player below 86 million pounds, and I've gone ahead to add dots and really found it out that it might be really right that this team known as Sporting Lisbon have their own interest, and their interest is really the same. They are not willing to bow down for less than 100 million euros, that is 86 million pounds as it stands right about now. So where should we start from? Let's obviously get into Victor Gyokeres' deal, as Arsenal really cooking to get this meal ready to be served to the fans of Arsenal. Now, Leonino from Portugal, close to Sporting Lisbon, has told us that Arsenal are reportedly now prepared to pay the requested 86 million pounds to Sporting CP for Victor Gyokeres. Now, obviously, we all know the price. 86 million pounds equivalent to 100 million euros. Arsenal have been trying to beat around the bush to obviously get this side frustrated, to obviously get in and really say, let's settle for less. But the side is like, we are not gonna be bold because you are Arsenal. It's 100 million euros or not, and Arsenal are reportedly prepared to pay the requested amount of money. That is the biggest story that we'll ever get from the camp of Arsenal this morning. Now, Arsenal are really looking to bring in a centre forward. We all know that. It's known, written all over the wall. It's an open book. Anyone can read it. That their focus is to bring in a number 9, right? They've been linked to very many, but looks like Gyokeres is one of those that Arsenal are really interested in. And Mikel Arteta, with his stature of not wanting to sign stars, I think he's like, I should get in this guy. I should get in Gyokeres to obviously come in through and really put in a very big shift for the club of Arsenal. If there is anything that Arsenal can get, it's getting Gyokeres as a striker at Arsenal. And they're out of the race for Victor Osimhen, because it looks like Victor Osimhen is going to be playing for the side of PSG. Ishak, that deal cannot be done. Then Ivan Toney. Arsenal are not impressed with the character of Ivan Toney, but never say never for Ivan Toney, because Brentford is like, we should cut the price of this player to see to it that he gets to 50 million pounds and see whether there is a team that will obviously sign him. So, and Brentford is not in the position of strength, yet other teams that are need in this guy are really in position of strength. So we are waiting to see how that pans out. But I would like to let you know that I now know why Arsenal are negotiating a deal of Carafiori, by £5 million less, then I know why Arsenal are really going in for Merino, and they're not going in for Bruno Gyokeres, who is £80 million. Merino is £20 million, meaning that they can spend close to 40. It's 63 million, 63 million pounds on two players, and maybe the balance will be used on the man known as Gyokeres. So that's the picture I've gone here to paint into this, and Arsenal is really doing the needful to obviously get this deal done and dusted. But as I told you, they are really working on two deals, and I think this might be the third one, right? This might be the third deal that Arsenal are really looking at, because they believe it's really gonna be the hugest spend for the summer, and they might be like, let's take our time and get this deal done and dusted. So Arsenal are prepared to really trigger the release clause for Gyokeres, and by so doing, they'll put in a very huge shift, and we'll be waiting to see what this progresses. But my worry is that tier 1 journalists like Fabrizio Romano have refused to commit themselves on such news on Victor Gyokeres. They are like, Arsenal will try to see to it that the price of Victor Gyokeres gets knocked down, right? You get? They're like, they don't want to pay this amount of money. That's what Fabrizio Romano is really telling us. You get? That Arsenal want to get the player on a reduced fee. That's what we are getting. And when you look at the other sites from Portugal, they are like, Arsenal is willing to pay this amount of money. And in the transfers, shifting goalpost is inevitable, especially for a side that is selling and the side that is buying. Why is it inevitable? Because the market forces of demand and supply can really lead to a huge alternation of the price. You know, Arsenal would have gone ahead to obviously try to trick this side of Sporting Lisbon, and Sporting Lisbon has gone ahead to keep their stance. You understand? Sporting Lisbon has kept their stance, and they're like, we are not letting the player go. That is it. We are not letting the player go unless you pay us that amount of money that we've gone ahead to obviously put out there. So it is going to be a tricky transfer for Arsenal, as you see it is for Carafiori, Merino, and very many others. Nico Williams. That's what the situation is going to be like. But I tell you, Arsenal is interested in signing Gyokeres, and Gyokeres is willing to obviously coming through and play for the side of Arsenal. But Arsenal are weighing in on how to obviously get this deal done and dusted, to see obviously get in a centre forward. I'm one of those who refutes that if Arsenal don't sign a number 9, they won't be into a favourite position to win the title. I've always told you, all I know is Arsenal need to create more outlets of goals. The moment they see to it that their players continue to score more goals, then this conversation of not them having a number 9 will stop. I've told you, Kai Havertz is a striker who will score 1 out of the 3 chances, and that is what we call clinicalness in this game of football. If your striker can convert 1 out of every 3 created chances, then he is gonna be clinical, and it will be up to you to create more chances. And sometimes a striker can come in through like Kai Havertz and score 2 out of 2 or 3 out of 3. You understand? So it's all about the chances that Arsenal are willing to create, and in so doing, those chances will result into giving Arsenal the best of the best. You know, why doesn't Saka put himself up to the 20 goal mark in the Premier League? You get? He was less by 4 this season, and the previous season of 2022-2023, he scored, I think, 14. The next season that we finished in 2023-2024, he scored 16. Now, this coming season, let Bukayo Saka task himself to score more 4 goals to make it 20. If Saka had scored those 4 goals, Arsenal wouldn't have gone ahead to lose to, or wouldn't have gone ahead to draw to Spurs and draw to West Ham. Meaning that they would have gone ahead to fetch 4 more points to make their tally go to 93, and they would have gone ahead to be a point ahead of the side of Man City, right? So, in so doing, what Arsenal has to do is let them increase the number of goals they're already scoring per player. When you look at When you look at Odegaard, I think he was less by 6 goals that he scored the previous season of 2023, of 2022, 2023. You understand? So if they can match their levels, look at Martinelli. That drop-off was really huge. You know, he never even scored 10 goals, yet he went ahead to score close to 16 goals the season of 2022-2023. There have been huge drop-offs, and the team you're competing with, they don't get such drop-offs. You'll see to it that Haaland will maintain his goals plus. The same applies to Julian Alves, Phil Foden. Who else has been scoring for Man City, scoring them some good number of goals. So their 3 talismen are really keeping themselves in the same numbers, almost hitting 20 goals in the Premier League. That's exactly what Arsenal should be really demanding from these players, I tell you. And even if you bring in Gyokeres, when the creativity of Arsenal is still low, I tell you, he won't really bury those chances. You get? If you look at the volume of chances that Man City creates, you'll obviously understand that all what Arsenal needs is to get in those chances, create those chances hugely. And in the due course of creating those chances, you'll obviously find Bukayo Saka getting more chances to score. You'll find Martinelli getting more chances to score, and Martin Odegaard. So I think that's what Mikel Arteta is really working on hugely, to obviously find himself in that position of really getting up and running as a player, so as a manager. So I think that's what he's also urging his team to do. But the big story is that Arsenal are willing to obviously coming through and do the needful. Now, Shebet Mike, Rokani, you need to get to be fine for delaying. Right, I'm sorry for the delay, but final have come. Martin Elisha, good morning. We are waiting. All right, I'm here. Rokani is delaying. We always move with time. All right, we are gonna rectify that. Michael Francis, hey bro, I'm Siketa Michael. We are watching from Busia district near Kenya. What is happening at Arsenal, bro? Obviously, Arsenal have gone ahead to reportedly, quote me well, quote me well, it's reportedly, Arsenal have reportedly agreed, all Arsenal are reportedly prepared to trigger the release clause of Gyokeres. And we are waiting to see what final decision is going to be really put in action by the side of Arsenal. Then I'm having Moses Nyongesa. We've waited for so long to see Arsenal signings. Big teams are doing their signings. We need to hurry up. But I think you shouldn't get worried. The deal of Calafiori is really close. That is it. The deal of Calafiori is very, very close. I tell you, the deal of Calafiori is close. And by the end of this week, we might get a here we go, because Arsenal are set to fly to the US, right? Towards the end of next week, right? Next week, it will be 28th. You get? And they'll be really working up and down to get this deal done. I think Arsenal will need to obviously go with the 1 or 2 signings in the US, and that's what they're really working upon. And Arsenal might really erupt, like if we're going to see Manchester United erupt in the previous days. 2 signings, Zirkzee done, unveiled, and even Lenny Yoro was unveiled yesterday at the club of Manchester United, and Man United is charged to go in for the player known as Manuel Ugarte. So I think Arsenal really adding up some dots, but when everything is ready, they'll obviously move to get this deal out of the way. But I believe they're going to get in some huge players. Kariangopo, good morning, Mr. Aradi. Thanks for the updates. I think Arsenal has no money for the transfers this season. This season of transfer, they have the money. They have the money. Ask yourself that if at all they spent £200 million when they hadn't gone ahead to play in the Champions League, do you expect them to spend less or not have money? They have the money. But I think this time round, the Euros has gone ahead to distort them a little bit. That's why you see it that Manchester United has gone ahead to strike the deals of 2 players after the Euros. You get? After the Euros have gone ahead to really come to an end. You get? And the same thing has gone ahead to happen to Arsenal. You know, we might be here when Arsenal are looking at certain players that have been playing at the Euros. You understand? And you saw it that no sooner Italy got knocked out of the Euros, Arsenal attacked the deal of Carafiori, and obviously everything really went ahead to happen that way. They have the money, but I think they are trying to really look out to fix. But I've always told you that I'm also not excited by what Arsenal is doing, because I anticipated that they would go for what we call the done and dusted players. Like in the midfield, I expect them to go for Bruno Guimaraes. You get? I expected Arsenal to go in for players like Nico Williams. Carafiori is fine because he's a left back. He can obviously come in and fit in well. You get? I would expect Arsenal to go in for like 2 completed articles, right? But right now, I'm really shocked that everything is not really going on as planned. So wait and see how Arsenal is really going to be planning their season. Oron Francis, thanks Rokani, Kariango Po, Gyokeres already agreed personal terms with PSG. That is out. It's Victor Osimhen who was going to hit to agree personal terms with PSG. It's Victor Osimhen. Gyokeres, no personal terms agreed with PSG. PSG is going in for a player called Osimhen, and Osimhen yesterday agreed personal terms with the side of PSG. Even if you go to the X account of Fabrizio Romano, that post is already there. But they are not interested into Gyokeres. All they want is to sign 2 players from Napoli, and those 2 players include Victor Osimhen and Gyokere. That is it. Kariangopo, Mr. Are retired to trust Arsenal this summer. Merino is going to Atletico Madrid. There is movement that Atletico Madrid is interested in signing Merino, right? But I tell you, you cannot rule out Arsenal. That is it. You cannot come out and rule out Arsenal that deal, unless otherwise I've gone ahead to see that Merino has gone ahead to agree personal terms with us. Merino has gone ahead to agree personal terms with Atletico Madrid. But remember, there is also Barcelona in the queue. So it will be up to Arsenal to act fast. That is it. If Arsenal doesn't act fast, then they are really gonna miss out. So, but I tell you, Arsenal will decide to miss out or not to miss out, because £20 million for Merino are peanuts. And at the moment, Arsenal doesn't go in for Merino, we'll just get to know that he was just on the list of 5, but was not topping the list. He was not the priority central midfield signing that Arsenal want to sign. And remember, yesterday I brought you a story of it was all about Thomas Partey. Him staying at the club of Arsenal is really stopping the deals of other players. Arsenal need to first get green light that Thomas Partey is leaving for them to obviously involve themselves in a deal that will see a Thomas Partey replacement being put up. So that is exactly what is happening at Arsenal. But smash like button close to 200 times. Let's smash it. We are only having 17 people that are going to smash the like button. Then there is Henry Moses from Chigezi. Good morning, Aradi. Thanks for coming early with great energy, and you will update us with all the transfer news. Yeah, I'm trying to obviously add up the dots and really get you what news is coming in from Arsenal. Then Mutesa Sisami, good morning, Mr. Rokani, Gyokeres and Zirkzee, who is better? You know, when you look at a player who is 26 years of age, that is Gyokeres, and what he has gone ahead to play at Sporting Lisbon, obviously he's good, and he's a more experienced player. For me, I think is what Arsenal wants. You know, Zirkzee is 23, but not all that experienced. He was at Bayern Munich and went ahead to obviously be sold to Bologna, and he led his team to play in the Champions League this season, because he scored very many goals and they completed into the positions that would see Bologna qualify for the Champions League. But I think at this juncture, for Arsenal, Gyokeres is the best deal. You know, is the best deal. From Siesko, I think Gyokeres and Osimhen, if Arsenal gets one of those, that will be the best deal. And I know Gyokeres is a better fit for the club of Arsenal than for Manchester United. Manchester United is in the rebuild. That's why signings of Zirkzee, Lenny Yoro are really good for the club of Manchester United, because they're at that level where Arsenal was when Mikel Arteta had just gone ahead to coming through, where he went ahead and signed in players like Benjamin White, who are like 22 years of age. He brought in Gabriel Magalhaes, he was like 2021. He brought in very many players who are really young to fit the side of Arsenal. But this time round, Arsenal don't want Zirkzee. Arsenal need a completed article. A player who went ahead to score close to 40 goals last season for Sporting Lisbon. He's having the Champions League experience and he's been scouted by Arsenal for some long time. Then Trinity Ronald, hey bro, thanks for the updates. Then Matov says, we love you, man. All right. Silva Ojangole, please, any update on Calafiori? Arsenal trying to really close this deal as soon as possible. That is it. They're trying to close that deal as soon as possible, and their intention is to get it done and dusted before this week. That is it. Moses Aradi, you have not tapped in the total of money Arsenal is willing to spend on Calafiori, Merino, Nico Williams, Gyokeres, Joshua Kimmich, and you recently told us that Sporting Lisbon. Yeah, you know, all I want to let you know is that when I bring you a story that Sporting Lisbon has gone ahead to slash the money to £60 million, it's what we are reporting. We report the news and react to it, right? Now, this time around is different. Looks like Sporting Lisbon is like, we want our money. We are not getting moved. But there is a boost that shows that Arsenal is really close to obviously getting this deal done and dusted. But the money for Calafiori, £43 million. That is it. Merino, £20 million. Nico Williams, £44 million. Gyokeres, £86 million. Joshua Kimmich, it should be £20 million. That is it. So that's exactly what is happening in the camp of Arsenal, right? And if you are looking at the prices, those are the prices. And I know Arsenal has the budget to get those deals done and dusted, but it will depend on its competitors on how fast they are going to be moving. Then Mugume Joffrey, Arsenal will sign a striker and a number 8 if Partey is really staying. I'm concrete sure. If Partey is staying, you aren't going to see any midfielder coming through at Arsenal. That is it. If Partey is staying, Arsenal won't spend any penny to sign a midfielder. That is it. Tibai Juka Robert, the reason as to why maybe they score those goals, it's because of Jesus. I remember we were saying that when Jesus is on the ground, he makes all players around him look better. Yeah, it's proven. It's proven beyond reasonable doubt that when Arsenal is playing with Gabriel Jesus, all players around him are really better because he does a lot on the ball and he can really reduce on the number of opponents that these remaining players will obviously face, meaning that he attracts huge attention and these other players get pockets of space where they can easily express themselves better and find themselves in scoring positions. That is it. When Jesus is there, you'll see to it that that front three of Arsenal will blossom like no other, right? They will blossom like no other. Moses, I still owe you comparison between Gyokeres and Haaland. Oh my God, where is my pen? I think every day I should be doing Gyokeres versus Haaland. Okay, I'm gonna hate to note that. Yeah, remember, I'm sorry for the delay. Farouk Boenje, Rokani, thanks for your updates. All right. Alex Motisia, good morning, bro. Good morning. Nelson David, morning. RD, thanks for all your efforts. Arsenal do get it wrong at the summer transfers. If you're competing with City, then get players like theirs. David from Newcastle. All right, thank you for watching from Newcastle. And I tell you, we know exactly what Arsenal is all about doing. Arsenal wants to close the gap, right? Arsenal wants to close the gap in between them and Arsenal wants to close the gap in between them and Man City. And to close the gap, the signings of Bruno Guimaraes, Gyokeres, Nico Williams are the ones they're supposed to be getting in through, you know? And if Arsenal doesn't really get in those, then I think they won't be closing in the gap in between them and Man City. I tell you, for them to close the gap, they have to obviously come in through huge and better to get everything done and dusted, right? So I really agree with you that they should get in players who are really going to be closing the gap in between them and Man City, right? Then there is Moi. Good morning, already. Thanks for your updates. What's happening with Arsenal to delay signing a midfielder as a striker? We need Bruno and Gyokeres plus Calafiori in the squad. Watching you from Zambia. All right, thank you very much for watching from Zambia. Now, I think the delay is all about the negotiations for Carafiori, but Arsenal are really trying to get this deal done and dusted, because remember, the player is going to hit return. The player has been told that on Monday he has to report to the training session of Bologna, right? So they're like, what a fuck. We cannot obviously allow this to happen. So if Arsenal are really serious, they wouldn't like to see Gyokere train with Bologna. You know, it's coming to 3 weeks since personal terms were agreed, and the player came out to obviously put in a shift that he doesn't want to go anywhere else. He snubbed very many other teams and he chose Arsenal over others, and Arsenal not really cooking the deal, and the player will be disgusted and being like, did I make a wrong decision to obviously choose Arsenal over other teams? Because as we speak right now, Arsenal is really one of those teams that is going to hit obviously put in a very huge shift, and in so doing, the shift is not really paying results. So that's why Arsenal don't want to disappoint the player, but they're going to be signing the player. For Gyokeres, I think it will come after Arsenal get the deal of Carafiori done. After the deal of Carafiori is done, I think Arsenal will move either to Merino, Nico Williams, or Gyokeres into the mix. So let's go to a little bit to Barcelona. At Sport is confirming to us that Jorge Mendes has asked Barcelona to modify Lamine Yamal's contract and make major economic effort after the player's being raised recently. There is already an agreement to extend Yamal's contract until 2030 next year. So when you clock the age of 17, then you are allowed to sign what we call a professional contract. And Lamine Yamal is that player that is going to hit to excite people in the recently concluded league of Spanish La Liga and at the Euros. He has been really a very good player that is going to hit to put in a very huge shift that most of you have going to hit to appreciate. But the side of Jorge Mendes, the agent, you know him, the super agent, has come out and really told the side of Barcelona that you need to obviously reward my client. He has gone ahead to put in a very huge shift, and obviously he needs to get what we call an uprise in his salary. And I guess what? They might even give him close to 150,000 euros, you know, or 200,000 euros, because he's the hottest cake in town and that everyone will obviously do the needful. So for me, I believe that Jorge Mendes, him being a super agent, he is really great and he knows when to obviously shoot his bullets. Remember, he was behind Ronaldo, Cristiano, and what he went ahead to become at that side of Man United and Real Madrid. You understand? So he might be having another superstar that he's really good at making and model him into the best player in the world. We might be here talking about Kylian Mbappe, talking about Bukayo Saka, talking about Jude Bellingham, talking about Erling Haaland, that they are going to be the next big thing in the world of football. Yet the next big thing is going to be Yamal. So he's having the right person that is really leading him to where he wants to be. That is Jorge Mendes, and I know that demands he's really making are out of merit, because the player has gone ahead to do it up at the Euros and even in the La Liga. And guess what? This season of 2024-2025, I bet not to miss out on a game in the La Liga because of Lamine Yamal on under the manager known as Hans Flick, who is really very much known at really embracing and getting these youngsters and giving them the best that they deserve. So I just can't wait, guys. I just can't wait to see how everything is really going to be moving to the right direction, and everything is really going to be moving that side. So we're here to wait and see how that is going to pan out, but it's really important to note that Lamine Yamal is an exciting player that is gonna take the world over by storm. He is really composed, and even when there are rumors that he wants to take the shirt number 10 of Barcelona, he came out and said, no way, I don't need the shirt number 10. I'll go with shirt number 19 that I obviously don't when they're playing at the Euro. So he's really taking step by step. He doesn't want a lot of pressure to be put on him like they did to Ansu Fati. I believe Ansu Fati was a good player, but getting him a shirt number 10 at that age was really huge. Maybe they thought that he had a mentality of Lionel Messi. But what went ahead to help Lionel Messi that people forget is all about the people he had around him. if you remember the people that Lionel Messi had around him in the team, obviously, he could handle the weight of that shirt number 10. If you had Busquets, Iniesta, and Xavi behind you to create magic for you, then what could fail you? The decors, huge experience this guy had. Ludovic Gyokere. You get? So, I tell you, it was really huge. Now, let's obviously get to Arsenal, right? Reiss Nelson, we've been told by the most concrete West Ham account that Reiss Nelson has agreed to join West Ham United, and now talks are to begin between clubs. No fee yet, but Nelson is hoping the deal is complete before the US tour starts. So, Reiss Nelson has agreed the deal to obviously join the side of West Ham, meaning that personal terms are not a problem for the guy. And Arsenal really working tooth and nail to obviously offload Reiss Nelson. Then, I think TalkSport told us that West Ham are winning the race to sign 24-year-old Reiss Nelson, with Arsenal valuing him at £25 million. Why are they saying that they are winning the race? There are teams like Fulham, teams like Crystal Palace that are interested in the signing of Reiss Nelson. But as it stands, who is really leading the race? It's obviously West Ham, and he has gone ahead to give them green light to discuss with Arsenal to get everything done and dusted. Then Sam Jedin, who works for the Daily Telegraph, went ahead to add on and said, my understanding is that Reiss Nelson is attracting interest from West Ham and could be available for a fee in the region of 15 to 20 million pounds. So, Reiss Nelson, at the beginning of the summer transfer window, he made it clear to the side of Arsenal that he doesn't want to play for Arsenal anymore, because they sold lies to him when he put pen to paper, and they were like, we can really get you enough playing time. And that was a lie. He never got in enough playing time as a player at the club of Arsenal, and right now he's pushing to move. And I think this money will be huge for the side of Arsenal because it comes in through as pure profit. 25 or 20 million pounds for Reiss Nelson comes in through as pure profit. As it stands, it's pure profit, and it can help Arsenal hugely into this summer transfer window. And remember, when you buy a player like a Gyokeres, 86 million pounds, you need this 25. You need the money for Eddie Nketiah. You get? So, Arsenal really working tooth and nail to get this out of the way, and I really promise you that Reiss Nelson is not going to be an Arsenal player come next season. Emily Smith-Rowe, Reiss Nelson, Aaron Ramsdale, and Nketiah. Those 4 players are destined to leave the side of Arsenal, and in so doing, they'll obviously find themselves in a proper position of really playing for other sides. But I know that Arsenal will do a proper deal with West Ham, and they'll have what we call a sell-on clause. I tell you, if Reiss Nelson can have 2 good seasons, all 2 full seasons, at the side of West Ham, he's not going to be there for the next season or the season after those 2 seasons. I know he's going to blossom and he's going to hit the ground running, because the manager there, Lopetegui, is good at playing some good football, and he'll be played as a left attacking midfielder at West Ham, and the rest is going to be history. So, Arsenal, if they have a sell-on clause, if you sell him for like 20 million pounds, you can tell them that, all right, he's an English player, and you want a sell-on clause of like 30 or 40%. You get? Because Reiss Nelson goes to West Ham, blossoms, he'll go for like 50 million pounds. 50 plus million pounds or 60. And then, if they sell him for 50, Arsenal will get like more 15. You add it on 25, that will be like 40 million pounds you are getting in from the guy. So, I think Arsenal should agree to sell this guy and let him move, and then put on a sell-on clause. And for me, if I told Arsenal, even if they're getting me 15 million pounds, I'll be like, all right, you're getting me 15 million pounds. I want a 50% sell-on clause. You get me 20 to 25 million pounds. I want a 30% sell-on clause. So that's what Arsenal is supposed to be doing for the guy known as Reiss Nelson. But it also paves way for the likes of Nico Williams to obviously feel like there is space for them to operate at the club of Arsenal, because that has been really a very huge blocking factor, because Arsenal is having 3 left forwards: Martinelli, Reiss Nelson, and Leandro Trossard. So out of those 3, there is no way you're going to convince a person that I'm going to be bringing you to play. You understand? So that is it for Reiss Nelson, and I think you're going to hate to enjoy it. But smash the like button, comment, and share. And if you're only watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Where did I end? I'm having absolute immaculate. RD morning, compare me, Saka and Nico Williams. Guys, comparisons are really gonna kill me. Let me try to see how many I can produce today. Saka versus Williams. You get? I'm having that of Moses. Gyokeres versus Haaland. Now we are having Saka versus Nico Williams. All right, I'm gonna do that. Then I'm having Sebayiga Edward. Good morning, my bro. How far is the deal for the Italian defense? That deal is closed. That deal is closed. It's all about Arsenal agreeing on how they're gonna pay the money for that guy. Henry Moses, already, I totally agree with you on the issues of Arsenal signing a finished article, and actually I'm happy, because if you need to understand your competitors are cooking and Arteta knows much Arsenal needs, yeah, Arsenal has to go in for finished articles, because you are not supposed to get in a royal diamond to obviously polish it, and then it really gets to the levels to compete with other teams. All you need to do is get a finished article in, like you saw Declan Rice. He came in and fit in like a glove. Look at what Kai Havertz went ahead to the club of Arsenal. Look at the likes of Gabriel Jesus. That's what finished articles really get you. The moment you don't get in finished articles, then I don't know what you'll be looking at. Then Moses Nyongesa Aradi. I wouldn't wish Arsenal to make mistakes that Wenger used to make. We get best players to sign, then other teams come and snatch our deals and take the players. We seriously need signings. I tell you, you're right. Arsenal need finished articles. You get? You know? But a finished article doesn't mean that the player should be 25, 26 years of age. For example, I tell you, Nico Williams, for me, is a finished article. Nico Williams is a finished article, right? Benjamin Šeško, for me, who was a finished article, ready to go for the next stage. Gyokeres, finished article. Bruno Guimaraes, finished article. Carafiori, I think he's not a finished article, but he's one of those players that you can bring in because he's playing as a left back. You get? He's playing as a left back, and he can easily fit into the system. You get? And if I told you are having close to 9 players who are really finished articles, if I told you are having 2 who are really raw diamonds, that is not bad. Tibai Juka Robert, I'm still wondering how we are doing our transfer. Teams like Aston Villa, they have already signed their signings that they want, but for us, we are still bubbling around without nothing. But I trust Arsenal. I tell you, I trust Arsenal. They'll get the best out of this summer transfer window. I tell you they will, because quality players are still there on the market. Then Motesesas, Sami, Mr. Rokani, how far with the deal of Emily Smith Rowe to leave? The first bid was rejected. Arsenal eyeing close to £40 million, and Fulham is really planning to make another bid to obviously get this deal out of the way. Then Mokosa Sad, good morning. How are you, Rokani? Good morning. Douglas Chinyanta, morning, RD. I'm an Arsenal fan watching you live from Lusaka, Zambia. I like your updates. You are doing a good job. Continue. All right. Thank you for obviously subscribing and smash the like button. And guys, you can as well buy super chats and support this channel by buying super chats. The dollar sign below, click on it, and obviously issue us some dollars, whether 1, 2, 3, 4, any that won't really itch your pocket. We're having Mokosa Sad, but what is Arsenal looking for? Cause I don't understand how Arsenal is doing its things. Guys, there are lots of parameters that Arsenal need to first look through to permutate and see how things really happen. So let's not really judge them. You know, for me, I'll judge a team like Arsenal at the end of the summer transfer window. But right now, they can pull out a transfer that they want. You get? Let's give them time and see how they're going to operate. There might be something really hinging them from obviously going in for the players we think they should be going in for. I think ever since Edu and Arteta came in through, they've gone ahead to execute the deals, and they've always gone ahead to get their priority targets, not so. So if there happens to be something that is not going on well, I tell you, they'll rectify it and they'll get the players. Henry Moses already away from Arsenal. Tell us your vote for Jude, Vinicius, and Rodrigo. Who should win, and who is your next manager of England? I believe that this is between, for me, it's between Bellingham and Rodri, because Vinicius was knocked out of the of the quarterfinals of the Copa America, you get, and Bellingham won everything that Vinicius went ahead to win, and he played in the finals of the Euros. Rodri never won the Champions League but won the Euros, and it's a tournament that comes in through 4 years. In 4 years' time. And the Euros is the biggest tournament in Europe, and they have to obviously trust it. So I believe it's really going to be Rodri versus Jude Bellingham, according to me. But according to the stats, Vinicius Jr. is still leading. That is it. And Bellingham is second, Rodri is third. So we're waiting to see. England manager, I would give it to Graham Potter. That is it. I think Graham Potter can get the best of football from those players that England are really having, because he is a very good manager. He pays a lot of attention to detail, and he moves that ball well from the back, and England will be playing some interesting and entertaining football under him. That is it. Who Arsenal players going to America? I think most of them will go, apart from Reiss Nelson, because Reiss Nelson wants to complete his deal before they go to America. Even Emily Smith-Rowe might not go. Nketiah might also not go. You get? So even Aaron Ramsdale might not go. So it all happens to be a decision that is yet to make, that is yet to be made by the end of next week on who is going and who is not going. Mugume Joffrey, I see Charlie Patino, if promoted and trained well as 8, would help us. Arteta is this kind of person who doesn't believe in those youngsters from the academy. That is it. Because we've gone ahead to see very many players quitting the academy of Arsenal because they lack what we call a clear path for these players to go into the academy. That is it. So Arteta is not that kind of person who will come in through and obviously trust Charlie Patino. You know, he doesn't risk himself like the likes of Pep Guardiola, the likes of Ten Hag, the likes of Jurgen Klopp to trust youngsters in his team. He has players at his disposal, and he's like, I'm not gonna go that side. I'm really going to do the needful. Then we are having Kahendo Oliver, Mr. Aradi, good morning, my mate, and how are you? Lastly, Dusan Vlahovic. You get? Dusan Vlahovic will land in Turin later this evening. He will have his first training session under Thiago Motta tomorrow morning. So it looks like all the players that we are knocked out of the group stages and the round of 16 at the Euros are really reporting for duty at their respective national teams. And this is the guy known as Vlahovic. And Vlahovic is really one of those players that has gone ahead to be making news in like 2-3 months to the summer transfer window, that he's going to be sold by the side of Juventus. But finally he landed yesterday night, and today he's going to be taking part into the training session of Thiago Motta. By the way, Thiago Motta, the manager of Juventus, was really unveiled yesterday, and a lot really went ahead to happen in there very well. So it's confirmed the player is going nowhere. He's going to be staying that side, and a lot is going to be happening into the mix. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. Tell me your thoughts about tell me your pure thoughts about the deal of the guy himself known as Gyokeres to Arsenal. Lamine Yamal salary increase, being put in there by the agent, super agent George Mendes. Pledge, does he deserve increment? Reiss Nelson, how much money do you think Arsenal should sell or cash in for Reiss Nelson to West Ham? Because he has gone ahead to give West Ham a very huge go into the mix. Now, I'm having Moses, Reiss Nelson and Edin Ketia should go. Then what's going to Kylian? I saw him reporting at somehow. Yeah, he reported, but he's not part of the Arsenal plan. That is it. Arsenal want to sell him, and they are going to move him on. Moses, who are Arsenal players going to America? I've hinted on that. Then Kahendo Oliver, thank you. Then Okelo, good morning, RD. What's Jakub Kivio and Alexis Future at Arsenal? Arsenal look like they want to dislodge of Jakub Kivio. They try to obviously put him in as a make weight for his deal to obviously go on and play for the deal of Carafiori to Arsenal. Bologna said, no, we want you people to get us money. And as it stands, Juventus is really interested in signing Jakub Kivio, right? So we'll wait and see how that pans out. Then Moses again, what are the achievements of Graham Potter? If you ask me the achievements of Graham Potter, then I'll ask you the achievements of the man called Southgate, who has gone ahead to take England in 2 finals of the Euros, played the semi-finals of the World Cup and quarter-finals of the World Cup of 2022. This guy was really performing badly at the club. He was sacked. He relegated Middlesbrough and he was taken in the unders. But when you look at Potter, look at the manager who went ahead to obviously transform Brighton and bring Brighton into our eyes. They are playing some beautiful football and everything was really great. What England need is a manager who can assemble that team and really get the players that are really of good quality onto the pitch. In that team, Saka, hear me out, Saka, Carl Palmer, Kobe Mainoo, Phil Foden, all have to be on the pitch. And it's called Anthony Gordon and Ollie Watkins. And if you are told there is a manager you have to trust to see to it that can obviously integrate those players into the team of England, that is the manager. Sometimes, if you ask me what are the achievements of Graham Potter, I even have another question for you. Mr. Moses, what were the achievements of Mikel Arteta when he came in through at Arsenal? He was just an assistant of Pep Guardiola, right? So, he was an assistant of Pep Guardiola and he did the needful to turn Arsenal into what it is. Sometimes it's all about the quality of the manager, and I tell you, Graham Potter is a pure quality. Landing into the mess at Chelsea, I don't blame him for it because Chelsea promised him heaven and earth that they would keep him around, but they went ahead to turn heel on him and he fell off the cliff. But that doesn't mean he's not a good manager. Look at Pep Guardiola when he came in throughout Barcelona. From Barcelona B, he took over Barcelona and he turned Barcelona into the best club ever in the world to play some good football. That is it. If England was having a good coach, they would have taken the trophy, like Graham Potter, because Graham Potter would have gone ahead to match the levels of Spain. He knows the tiki-taka and he knows how to make those substitutions. Opio Andrew, good morning. Then Moses says, Arsenal currently, we are focusing on winning titles and glooming youngsters will come back when we reach the level of bringing young players, of which Arsenal has been doing better than any other team. But I can ask you, if you say that Arsenal has been grooming young stars, how many youngsters did Arsenal bring up to and really hit what we call the world level class? You get? It has been really long, Talk of those years of Arsene Wenger. He could obviously sign in youngsters and turn them into good players and sell them. But in the recent past, Arsenal hasn't been a good portal for that. Not until the Bukayo Saka came in through. That is it. Moses Henry, Arsenal currently, we are focusing, all right. Then Ndiamohachi, is Calafiori better than Kivio? Yeah, he is. Calafiori is better than Jakub Kivio. Ochirad Thomas, Rokani, you are the best. I do follow your updates day and night. Thanks for the work. Thank you for watching it through. Let the English team get in Pep Guardiola. Let's wait and see what Pep's plans are going to be. If at all Pep's plans are to really quit Man City in the summer of 2025 and not renew his contract, I think England can lower him into becoming their manager. Then Aziz Pauline, good morning, Aradi. I don't agree with Bellingham taking the Ballon d'Or, but he won the Champions League. He won the La Liga. He played into the final of the Euros. You get? So, if you think Vinicius can win it, why not Bellingham? Bellingham outscored Vinicius Jr. in the Champions League. You get? He took his team to the finals of the Euros and scored close to 2 goals. You get? If Vinicius is in the queue to obviously win the Ballon d'Or, then even this guy should be in the queue to win it. So, it's not about you not wishing him, but the odds, you know? But Rodri, having not gone ahead to win the Champions League, went ahead to win the Premier League and the Euros. So, we'll wait and see how people are really going to vote, because these are journalists that are best well equipped with the knowledge of football that obviously vote in. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. It has been Rokani David onto this channel. And remember, we are powered by Mono Gadgets. Mono Gadgets are dealers in new phones and laptops. They also deal into what we call used phones and laptops from UK. If you feel like you want to get the best in your gadgets and upgrade your gadget game, this is the place to be. It's Mono Gadgets, and you can as well call them on +256 70 99 88 665. That is Mono Gadgets for you, and the rest will be history. Rokani David is my name, and may the living true God bless you abundantly. Rokani David is my name. Whoever is asking me about Victor Gyokeres, go at the start of the video. I've gone ahead to explain it to the fullest. I thank you guys, the Muslims, Juma Kareem, the Christians. We cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. And Mono Gadgets are really our proud sponsors and continue to do the needful. I sign out for now. See you later. It's a 5-finger salute. We are going to be returning with the recording 2 hours from now, and it's really going to be interesting.